right? But when I left, when I was kind of asked to leave, right, and I started doing my own things, I was very determined to be better than you. It was such a like. It wasn't even about.
So you're I'm the reason you're successful, is what you're saying. Okay,
Well, this actually gives me to something. I did have a thought. Oh, this is so. I like telling painful truths.
Yeah,
because I think
you
that's how we
definitely
learn
do. Yep.
about ourselves. And the painful truth is, I was a very bitter person even when I started blowing up in TikTok. And I do remember specifically hoping you knew. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, I'm blowing up. Oh, I hope John sees it. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was even then, all those years later, I still had this in my heart.
Yeah.
That I was like, fuck you.
And that's, you know, what's really.
I remember going to Matt and telling Matt that I was still pissed off about that 8 years, 7 years after it happened.
And you know what's the really interesting thing about that? And not to but I didn't. Like, and for me, the situation was once that happened and we stopped really talking as much as we used to, it was more of like, I just didn't, not that I didn't care, but like, that wasn't like, I wasn't ever going to get mad. When I found out how popular and successful you are, I was so happy for you. Like, it's the exact opposite of the reaction that you thought I would have, because go ahead.
I built you up as a villain. In my head for the longest.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that you think of other people this way, when that, like, I never thought that. I only ever wanted you to succeed.
But you know what actually helped warm the waters and made it possible? And I don't know if you remember this. You came to 5-Star about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And you came to one of the shows, and that made me feel so seen and heard. You were ready to be there, and you were participating and having a good time. This is the first time in years that I felt like you were my friend again.
Yeah.
And
that's why I feel so bad about it, because I obviously didn't want that to happen. And
points in our life.
Yeah.
And I really do think, in a lot of ways, not to give you too much credit because you don't deserve it, but I do think, though, if it wasn't for that moment, if I stayed complacent with the stuff that I was doing, and I didn't have a kick to like prove someone wrong or have some fire in me, I don't know what would have happened. And not in all my successes, John, that quote you told me at the very first littlepodcast.com variety show about you just get stuff done, I was thinking that when I did a burlesque Hall of Fame. I was thinking that when I was putting on the Wisconsin Burlesque Festival 1, 2, and 3. I was thinking that when I started 5-Star. I was thinking that when I started TikTok. I mean, it was always in the back of my head that I knew I could get shit done because you believed in it. You know what I mean? We have a weird history in the sense that there is a lot of connective tissue. And I do think there's more to that than I've ever really examined. You know what I mean? Like, this was where I cut my teeth for the first time.
So, and
you know what I mean?